Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing
I mean,
well.
how was
Yeah.
how was your trip? You like went down
It was
and
nice. Yeah, I
did
am
things.
actually I'm still in Tennessee. I don't know how long I will be here, but yeah, we're
Oh.
here for London to get medical care.
If you're out in East Tennessee, you should really try and check out Natural Tunnel if you can, because
Oh,
that's
of
like out
course. Of
towards
course.
there. Yeah.
I was going to bring up Natural Tunnel in this conversation. Yeah, I'm very close to Natural Tunnel. Actually, last
Really?
night, yeah, actually last night I considered going to a lesser known driving to a lesser known railroad landmark that is even closer to where I am. It's on the same line as the Natural Tunnel,
Really?
but I had not heard of it and is almost as unique. Have you heard of Hagen's Switchback?
That is okay. So maybe, but I'm. Is it a junction between an old Clinchfield and an old like N&W line, or am I thinking of something else? Some other weird mine infrastructure out
I
there?
don't think it's a junction
Okay.
between multiple lines. It involves trains having to reverse, but it's
Weird.
yeah, but it's on it is built as part of one single line. I think it's the old Clinchfield that it's on. Either way, it is the same trains that go through Natural Tunnel go through Hagen Switchback. It's like
Interesting.
very close to the Cumberland Gap, to like the tri-point of Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee. And
Huh.
it's not really it's not really a switchback either in the conventional sense. It's not a point where the railroad reverses in order to climb a mountain, but it's or rather it is, but not in the way you think about a switchback being. It's more like what would be a spiral on a
Oh,
slightly higher budget. It is
interesting.
like if they wanted to avoid the obstacle of having making the trains reverse for a little ways, they would make it into a spiral, but they don't have the budget to make it into a spiral. But it's like the train a train that is running empty towards the coal fields.
Mhm.
There's a tunnel at there's a tunnel at the north end of it. Train comes out of the tunnel and
Mhm.
then reaches a stub end track, reverses, goes backward up another diverging track,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then reaches a stub end like a mile further back after like reversing for a mile,
Uh
and
huh.
then goes forward perpendicular to the direction that it entered the switchback going, and
What the hell?
crosses over the tunnel that it just went through. And it is the only place, I think, on a mainline railroad in the US where a train has to reverse to keep going forward.
That's fascinating. That's like it kind of reminds me of like back in the early 80s. So like on the Trona, you've got like to get to Searles, you have to like punch through a big tunnel to kind of get to the junction like with the UP and the Trona up there
Yeah.
and stuff. In the early 80s, there was a tunnel fire. And so the original grade up and over the mountain there was actually this like really big kind of winding shoe fly, but it never reversed. But functionally it was the same thing. It was this idea of like, oh, it's this like line that's like reversing kind of ish to get like over a mount like over this big hill where a tunnel like is and stuff. But I've never that's like bypassing a tunnel. I've never heard of
Yeah.
like a like that being connected to a tunnel. That's
It's
wild.
it's not it's not really that's bypassing a tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hagen Switchback is like it's sort of analogous to like the Canadian spiral tunnels if they decided
Yeah.
that they didn't want to have any sharp curves, if like that was the priority, if they wanted to
Yeah,
build
yeah,
the
yeah.
Canadian spiral tunnels without any sharp curves, and so instead just had the trains gingerly back up for part of it.
It was the spiral tunnels. If all of the designers were like just snorting so much cocaine, like just like that's the literal. That's kind of
Yes.
the vibe in a way. I remember like there's an old Highball Productions tape that I remember like watching a bunch as a kid that was like saying like, oh, like originally their plan was in essence to like bypass the big hill going down the spiral tunnels. Is like, oh, we're going to like basically get a ledge on Mount Stephen and then just like kind of loop our tracks around the mountain and like go down into it. And I'm like, but there's so many fucking like rock slides on that mountain. Like I can't imagine the logistics of being like looking at a mountain with gigantic slides and being like, yeah, we could put a train there.
We'll put a train
Nothing
there.
bad's gonna happen. It's fine. Yeah, it's all good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you to be able to get up to Kicking Horse Pass someday. Honestly.
Oh yeah,
like,
no kidding. Yeah,
like it's kind of it's wild because like when I first went there back 2 years ago now. Oh my god, that was almost 2 years ago. Oh no, but almost 2 years
Where
ago
does
now.
the time go?
Like, I know. I don't think I told you about the first time that I went out there. It was I got as far east as Banff in November of 2023, and it was 5 degrees outside in Banff when I got there, and my camera stopped working, and so I couldn't do anything past there and stuff. But if you get out to Field especially, you're looking up this like really sheer valley, basically unlike anywhere else I've ever been, honestly. Like maybe at least for trains, maybe like when I was hiking the PCT, like there's like a couple of places that I can think of like towards Kennedy Meadows that were like that. But like, you know the elevation game between like Ashland and like the summit of Siskiyou Pass. Right?
Oh yeah,
we talked about that before. Like imagine that, but even more sheer in terms of just that like, oh my god,
wow.
like they have to climb up and out of this thing, and it's like a really, there's no vegetation in the valley itself because it's this big glacial outwash plain. It literally feels like you're about to like step into like a platformer level in like an old N64 game or something. Where it's just like, well, this is the second to last level of the game, and I'm gonna have to like backwards long jump up this really steep
I can picture
hill.
exactly what you're describing.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, just like pass through all 3 spiral tunnels and you get a power star or something like that sort of deal. I never play Mario 64. Did you ever play Mario 64? Was that like
only like at friends' houses and stuff? Yeah.
Okay, because like because you're younger than me, so like your first.
Yeah, no,
I had been a Mario Galaxy kid, right?
Yeah. I had a friend who was super into Nintendo and had all the. They had all the games across the eras. Like that was one of his special interests.
That's awesome. My best friend and I, when we were in Albany, have you ever been to the Carousel Museum in Albany? Have you gone there before?
In Albany, Oregon? Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. We went back in last August, and then we went over the weekend because Winterell was there. And it was right up the street from it and stuff. But there's this there's a video game, like there's an arcade, I think it's specifically called like 90s Nostalgia or something in Corvallis, and they, in addition to like all the arcade machines that they have like a couple of just like couch setups with old video game consoles. They just had like an N64 and a SNES and a Genesis like setup and stuff, and I got to play Wario's Woods for the first time ever, and I have no idea how the frick that game works. It was so confusing.
I have only loosely even heard of that game.
Hey, I've only heard it ever as a Scott the Woz bit, actually. Like, it was just like one of those just like obscure games like, Wario's Woods or something along those lines. It's just like okay, this is
all right, that is a thing that exists.
That is a game that it was published. It's the Turkmenistan of Nintendo's catalog, in essence.
I don't know. I feel like Turkmenistan is. There's other countries that you could use as an example of like countries that nobody has heard of. My default example of when I have to say that that exact analogy, like country that no one has heard of. My default is Burundi.
Yeah, that's so. Oh my god,
Turkmenistan is actually kind of interesting. They are one of the weirdest dictatorships in the world. They have like had a series of just absolutely ridiculous personalist dictators who have ruled the country according to their whims and personal preferred hobbies.
Yeah. The idea of having, in essence, a special interest dictatorship
Yeah, yeah.
is like, I don't know, fascinating too. Because what is it like? Isn't the capital like the largest amount of like marble clad buildings in the world, or something along
Yes.
those lines? Or
Yes.
is it like,
The
okay,
guy, I don't think he's the leader anymore, but the guy for like the last 20 years or so until
yeah.
recently, who
The
was,
dentist
yeah,
guy,
leader.
yeah.
Yes, the dentist of the previous dictator. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov. Yeah, he
yeah,
was
yeah,
obsessed with setting like totally made up records that like could not really be broken because
yeah,
they were entirely arbitrary. Like seeing them
yeah,
as a record is like
yeah,
completely his creation. So like yes, most white marble facades in a city. And yeah, that was one. It was like most people in a single file bike parade was, I think, one that he did at one point.
sure,
Yeah,
sure,
sure, why
man.
not?
Like
He
the
had
contact minister, but
largest collection of a particular Turkmenistan specific breed of horse. Like, yeah, I don't think there would be much
okay,
competition for that. Horses were actually his main special
really,
interest. Yeah, yeah.
really,
He wrote a book about this breed of horse, the Akalteke, that he called Turkmenistan's pride and glory, and wrote about how beautiful this horse is in like very eyebrow raising terms.
yeah. It's just a like, hey, like, you don't really like horses that much, do you? Like, it's just
Yeah,
like
I
this
mean,
just in. The dictator of Turkmenistan confirmed brony.
Oh yeah.
Totalitarianism is magic.
People say Bill Clinton is a brony. He went on
Wait, what?
It's a total. It's a joke. It's a myth. But like he did
Okay.
in like 2012, I think, sometime around then. He
Yeah.
went on Wait, Don't Tell Me, and they were like, the hosts were like, what could we expect Bill Clinton to not know much about? Like, we want to give him a quiz that we think he will fail.
Yeah.
And what should it be about? Should be about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic trivia, and he aced it.
Oh, what?
But okay, that's the story that people tell. It is factually accurate, but
Oh my
they
God.
were sort
Okay.
of massaging the answers. Like I think
Yeah,
they
of course,
they
of course.
didn't actually want him to fail. They wanted to be able to say, "Is Bill Clinton a secret brony?" Because like
Yeah.
it was multiple choice. All the other answers were ridiculous. Like anyone who knows things about how the world works would probably be able to guess which answers were correct, even if they'd never heard of My Little Pony before that point.
Who do you think Bill Clinton's like favorite pony in the main six is? Out of like who most identifies with our Arkansas boy? Like what's the I don't know. Like,
Yeah, like
Applejack
would
is
it be
the immediate
Applejack?
answer, but
Like
I don't maybe.
maybe, but like he's
also
he's
evil,
an
so, like,
he's
I
an
don't-
intellectual who wants to seem folksy. So like
Yeah.
maybe Twilight Sparkle.
Maybe like a charlatan Twilight, for lack of a better term, just like a particular like there's so many jokes that I've had in my mind that like would get this instantaneously canceled based off of things that you specifically said that I'll have to tell you about afterwards.
All right,
The one that came into my mind that I have to keep going is, I did not have sexual intercourse with that horse penis.
I can't remember who it was, but I told that story to another friend of mine. They said exactly that.
Okay, good. I'm glad that I'm in good company.
The jokes
that
write
you-
themselves. Yes,
You
yes, you
cultivate
are.
a particular je ne sais quoi freak around you, then in a good way, of course.
Well,
but,
thank you for matching my freak. Yes, no. I take it as a compliment. Yeah, by all means.
I don't think you match my freak, but I mean I'm grateful that it's at least flowing in one direction.
Yeah, no, okay, that is a better description. All right, we are a podcast. Possibly, we are recording this episode. We're recording this conversation. We are just having a conversation, but we might make it into a podcast. I'm Tor Parsons from Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities, and You're
Hi,
Casey
my
from
name's
Railfan Junction.
yeah, Aurora. You can call me, Casey collectively or system. It's fine. From Railfan Junction. Yeah, we do you want to kind of like give the audience the basics of how the heck we even know each other? Because that in of itself is a weird story that advertises your Patreon Discord server, and I think Jim would be
Well, yeah,
be like, why didn't you advertise the Patreon?
we both have YouTube channels. We met on the Tours Cabinet of Curiosities Discord server, which is accessible for Tours Cabinet of Curiosities patrons. If you donate to the Tours Cabinet Patreon, you can join the Tours Cabinet Discord. It is a fantastic, tight-knit community. There are fantastic conversations going on there every day. Just the most random shit. I always, whenever I want to boost my mood, I go into the Tours Cabinet Discord, and they will be talking about something outrageous and fantastic and just fascinating that I have never heard of.
Yeah, I've never been more.
And relationships have been formed. Yeah, gobsmacked. That is the word. You shall join the Tours Cabinet Discord. You shall be gobsmacked. You shall be smacked in the gob. Your gob is gonna fucking hurt.
The gob sounds like such a medieval term for like various parts of human anatomy. But anyways, just
yeah. I mean, I associate it sounds like Cockney, like it is an actual word for mouth in like
really?
old school British slang. Like I associate it with like working class Victorian London types.
Okay.
Like oi, he knocked me in the gob.
When I was younger,
I think that's where gobsmacked actually does come from. That it like smacks you in the gob.
Interesting. For whatever the reason, because I guess gobstopper, because then there's that element.
Yes,
of just like,
well, yes, that it can stop your gob.
It could stop your gob. It
One of my favorite.
And there's a lot of things that would be gobstoppers. Then
yes, yeah. One of my favorite memes of all time. It's just a picture of a dam holding back a lake overlooking a peaceful village, and then the dam is marked gobstoppers, the lake gob, and the village society.
Jeez. I really... That's really good, genuinely.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I love like the ways in which that like specific class of meme kind of takes common parlance and is just like, what if we just expose the English language as being freaking ludicrous, for lack of a better term? Like
another one of my favorite examples of that. There was a few years ago, there was a meme of just this rapper, can't remember which, but one particular rapper saying, let's go. There was like, people would use that as a reaction image. Just this guy captured, let's go.
Yeah.
And
let's go.
Yeah. It was like LESSSSGOO. It's just a particular picture of the guy captured, let's go. And I once saw it reposted with the caption, when there is too much goo.
Less goo. I mean,
goo.
That's a fantastic advertisement for Goo Gone, like the product, honestly.
Yes.
Honestly, like less goo. You need to do Tours Cabinet branded Goo
Some
Gone.
people, I should, yeah. Some people like goo, but goo has its time and place. If you want to remove the goo, get Goo Gone.
If you're a freak that likes goo, but not all the time, then try less goo.
Yeah, we're not saying no goo, just less of it.
But less of it. Yeah, no, that's fair. There's a whole story about Baja Blast bottles that I can get into some other time, but like it
I would love to hear your story about Baja Blast bottles, but if we are going to make this into a podcast, it should be about something, and I am very interested in hearing your info dump about the Bombardier jet trains.
God. Okay, so in terms of context about turbine powered locomotives in the United States and France in particular, I know that you have a lot of information about them and stuff, but out of the designs that have been in existence, the GTELs, the coal turbine, the steam turbine in the 30s, the Rohr turboliners, I'm forgetting what.
Yes, the many attempts by Americans and Canadians to make a high-speed train that they don't need to build high-speed rail infrastructure for.
Yes. Which is your favorite out of all of them? Genuinely, like, which is your favorite?
I will be honest, I don't have as much detailed knowledge of the various attempts of making turbine trains as you think, but I have a picture of like the Canadian one that had had a cab in like a dome on top of the power car. Was operated by CN before they turned over the passenger trains to Via. Like I have a mental image of one of those with the CN Noodle logo on it.
Oh yeah,
like
those ones are amazing.
That's a distinctive looking train, and go off Canada. Like, thanks for inventing something cool. At long last, The
UAC turbos, especially to me, look like the old like Brio trains from like the 90s and stuff. It looks like that like platonic ideal of like a children's. I mean, I have like a bunch of Brio trains just like over like behind me.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like to me. It's just like, oh, this is the toy you give your kid brother for Christmas sort of deal, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, it's also like. It's almost like a retro-futuristic vibe. It is like what you would expect trains to look like in the Jetsons.
Oh, yeah. No, I was actually thinking about earlier, like, the idea of, like, what would be, like, Walt Disney's ideal, like, aesthetic for public transportation and stuff, considering that. And, like, monstrous, like, at the same time. But it would be the UAC Turbo.
It would be the would be the UAC Turbo, yeah.
Yeah, it's that Disney futurism in essence, like in just like a extraordinarily loud jet engine.
Yeah,
that looks really cool, frankly, but also it's just like a So yeah, my favorite.
Yeah, is just extremely loud and basically just an ordinary train. Who painted it blue and yellow? Because like I also
Via.
feel like I also right. Oh duh, because Via blue and yellow. And then did it operate in Michigan, or is that a different turbo train? Like between Chicago and Detroit, Amtrak ran a turbine train.
Yeah, those are the Roars, and one of those sets, at least I think a power car and at least one of the passenger cars, to this day survives in a scrapyard in Indiana. And I've wanted to go out there. Like they're just still sitting there.
Yeah,
like,
I saw a tweet many years ago about someone who just found a bunch of moldering old turbine trains on a lot in Pueblo, Colorado. Which it makes sense that they ended up there, because that's, for those of you listening who are not aware, that is where the TTC, the Transportation Technology and Testing Center.
I think it's Transportation Technology
Center, but it is a testing center for trains. Like almost every new model of train that is built in the US in the last, when did it open? Last several decades, has been tested on their tracks out in the Colorado prairie.
Yeah, and it's wild too, just because
of Pueblo, Colorado. Yeah.
I remember distinctively seeing a Trains magazine, really poorly photoshopped Trains magazine cover from 2007 or something, that was the future of electric freight in North America. And it had an HHP8.
Yes.
In Union Pacific colors.
HHP8. Yes. I've
so
pictured
funny.
that. Yeah, I can picture exactly that. Yes, I had that Trains magazine for sure. And
That's
I thought
incredible.
that the UP color HHP8 was the coolest thing in the world. I
love it.
10.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's just it looks so wrong, because it's the HHP, it's modeled on the Acela, which is modeled on the TGV to an extent, and it's this idea of a Union Pacific painted TGV sounds like something that Lionel would have made in the early 1980s. It's just it's the city of Paris or something, just in Union Pacific, I don't know. But speaking of the TTC, so I was doing kind of some browsing on Google Maps, as I often do, because I'm a fiend and I like to go and just look at maps. That's how I found that stub end electric operation along the old Pennsylvania Railroad outside of Harrisburg. That, quarter mile of catenary that we were talking about a while ago.
Yeah.
And I was just like looking at like, because I was trying to find, there's 3 SD60 Max at the TTC to this day. They are the prototype AC traction locomotives that EMD and Siemens built in the early 1990s. They have Burlington Northern paint. They are
Wild.
weird looking. They're weird looking, and they're all three.
Like
All 3 of them still
Grinstein
exist.
paint?
No.
No.
They are
like
they're
Cascade Green.
Cascade Green, and they're weird looking. They look like BN at three windshield piece SD60s, but they also look like 70 Max as well, and it's like a whole like unique thing. They're very like they're just straight up in service on BNS. So thinking about it for a second, because I'm just have this picture in my mind. It is entirely possible that in the late 1990s, when on Crawford Hill, you could have had a BN SD60 Mac, a BNSF patched, Kodachrome painted C30-7, and then a Grinstein or like an H1-9 pushed by a couple, like a Santa Fe and a BNSD 40-2 up Crawford. Like that's wild to me. Like early BNSF. Oh my god.
Yeah. Early BNSF was such a delicious mess. It was kind of like that. I mean, I remember being a Live to Rail fan couple of years when BNSF was kind of like that in like, when was that? Around like 2015, 2014, 2015? Because like they were having, their traffic was booming. They were having power shortages. And so that's when they brought in the C-Rex, Leaser engines. They were they brought out tons of ancient faded war bonnets out of storage. People were, old timer rail fans at that point were saying feels just like the early days of BNSF.
And I remember the early days of BNSF because I'm old. I'm not like that much older than you, but at the same time, like I've imported a bunch of like my old tapes from the early 2000s, and like I'm like, oh right, I remember back when I could see war bonnets like leading trains in Southern California, or oh god, I remember when I could see Montana Rail Link SD45s in Southern California, like the good old days of the Bush administration.
Yes. Yes, you're not that old.
Oh yeah, I know. I feel
like
old. I've taught college, Tor. This is I feel ancient. I mean,
nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean join me in my elderliness.
Yeah, I genuinely like people are saying that on the Discord the other day. Like there are people born in 2011 who can legally drive in some states. They said that, and like people were gobsmacked again by that, and like that doesn't really do anything for me. Like I'm 24 and I genuinely really do feel still young, and there's not really much that has yet gotten me to say, holy shit, I'm old. I wonder what the first thing that does that for me will be, because it's coming in the next few years, I'm sure.
I definitely think like the 20th anniversary of games that I grew up with was definitely some of the things that have like really hit home. Like the Mega Man Battle Network games are like 20 years old now. And like for me, like that's a big one, because like I grew up with like Battle Chip Challenge, which was like kind of an auto chess game, interestingly, back in the day. But like it's kind of
those.
The base games are really good. I don't have the muscle memory to be good at them as an adult, but like Battle Chip Challenge is a spin-off. My mom got it for me like as a 2-pack of games at Sam's Club of all things back in the day. Weird stuff. Right. But that game's 20 years old now. So I'd say like media that you consume and enjoyed, like it's and enjoyed the hype surrounding being 20 years old. Like Revenge of the Sith is 21 now. Like it can drink legally. But the other thing is for me, like being like in the community that I'm in, and like knowing a bunch of like having known people like who always have been younger than me, like in the furry community, but like are like now like 26, 27 themselves. Like it's weird even having that like couple year gap and being like, wait, but you always were 19. Why are you also an adult now properly? Like I think it's subtle, but it hits you over time, sort of deal.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Oh, so the TTC. So I'm like browsing around the TTC and like just kind of trying to find these 60 Max, and I finally like see what looks like a red Acela power car, and I'm like, okay, so they must have just had like an extra Acela lying around. like
Well, yeah,
as they do, obviously.
because of course, yeah, they did. They tested the Acela. They brought it. I'm
Yeah.
sure you are aware of this story, but yes, they tested the Acela. Like everything, they tested the Acela at the ETC before they launched it in the Northeast. They brought in French crews to handle it because it was sort of based on the TGV, and no American crews were qualified at that point to run something like it because of FRA regulations. The Acela is way heavier than a European high-speed train, and the French crews called it le cochon, the pig, because of how heavy it was.
That's incredible. It's like no Americans were harmed in the making of this high-speed train. It's like the French like, what do you mean high speed?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had originally seen, like, on some website ages ago, I'd seen some, like, initial renderings of the Acela before they went with, like, the, whatever the hell that Acela logo is. Do you like the Acela logo?
I do like the Acela logo, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever
Gotcha.
the hell the Acela logo is, it's interesting because I've always thought of it as a feather. It's a feather, right? Have you ever thought of it as a feather?
I mean, no, actually. I've always thought of it in essence as like a sheet that's caught the breeze. Like somebody left their laundry out like during a Santa Ana windstorm or something. That's kind of like how I've always seen it personally. And then I've always seen the Amtrak logo that's derived from that as in essence just the Sprint logo. Which is like, I don't know, like, I don't know, that's just kind of... It's a very late 90s design. I will say. I do like it for that reason. Like it is a very like fun like this looks like the icon of like the sequel to like the Panasonic 3DO or something, or it's just like the 4DO and it's just like a that wave design or something like that.
Yes, you can sort of I guess you can sort of see the Acela logo as Frutiger arrow, as the kids would say.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. No, it's like so hashtag Y2K. I love just all the like random differently colored dots across the original Acela train set. Yeah.
Like I love that aesthetic.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well,
that
I also love like
so,
the Acela
like,
regional.
Like early internet design is what I would define that as. Like the optimistic future of the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's funny because when CSX switched their paint scheme over from YN2 to YN3, it went from bright future to dark future, which kind of says everything during that time period.
They didn't actually call it dark future, right? Because
I think it's YN3.
Yeah, rail fans called it dark future because it was darker than their previous scheme that they called bright future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do definitely still think of the CSX paint scheme, dark future.
Yeah, and like the UP like America flag everywhere. Like it's ironic actually during that time period of just like, increased like nationalism and like jingoism and all that stuff like post 9/11, like you had like Amtrak going from the literal most like, patriotic paint scheme of just like red, white and blue stripes in phase 3 over to my favorite, the intercity paint scheme phase 4, over to phase 5, which is like the most I don't know, it has the colors, but it's, I don't know.
Yeah, does not say America.
No.
Like previous ones did. Does not suggest a unified brand identity at all because a lot of the fleet stayed in Phase 4.
Yeah. I wonder what Phase 5
what did they do?
Look like.
Yeah, like, no, I've tried to picture that sometimes. Like, if you were to paint a superliner in Phase 5, what would it be? And I've just come up with like a blue roof and barely any color on the rest.
It's just gray. It's just sad looking. It's if you paint a superliner in Phase 5 is also my favorite Dr. Seuss book. It just has
same.
So on paint schemes, I see the red Acela and I'm like, hey, this must be like the old, like, I think it was called the Liberty Liner initially or something along those lines. And it's like, this must be like what that initial, like, they must have just kept it as like its own thing. And I'm like, oh, sure, it's a red Acela. Like, why not? I don't think about it at all. And then I like find the SD60 Max. And I'm like, wait, what the hell do you mean a red Acela? And so I start looking up on Google. I'm like, what is the reticella, like what's going on and stuff. And
Yeah.
so the Bombardier jet train is this really bizarre like piece of early 2000s like technology. If we talk about, you know, like the UAC like turbo train being like, what if Walt Disney pictured like what long distance transportation would be, like the jet train is like if you took every like 90s technocrat and was just like, hey, how do we make high speed rail in America like work? And there's a fundamental problem with it that I want to get I want to like kind of get off the bat, is that they basically were wanting this to be on the high speed rail networks in the United States that did not have electrification. My question to that is, what high-speed rail networks in the United States did not have electrification at that time?
Yeah, what high-speed rail networks in the United States?
Like, literally.
Yeah,
like, there's the Northeast Corridor, and that's it.
Yeah. Where were they planning to run this? Like, yeah, I can identify a bunch of existing corridors where they could have high-speed rail, but, like, what tracks were they going to run these on? Yeah.
Exactly.
Had
like, this
they
is
identified corridors?
This is like we've talked about gadget bonds before, but like, you know, this is more like a fan fiction bond in a way, where it's like, you know, those transit people who like look at maps and they're just like, hey, there's a train line that goes between this city and this city. Why isn't there a train that operates over that? And it's like, because the train line that's there is a single track, you know, 45-mile-an-hour freight line that has 60 trains a day on it, sort of deal. Like it's a lot of people like that I've interacted with, which like all the love in the world to them, but it is not that simple, unfortunately.
Yes.
So the jet train basically is what happens if you stuff the engine from a Marine Corps landing craft into which Bombardier did not own, by the way. Apparently this is normal-ish. Like, one of the people in your server was talking to me about this. It is not unusual for people to rent out turbines. I find this odd, especially for it being a prototype engine. But it is literally like, hey, what if we stuff the turbine engine off of a Marine Corps landing craft into an Acela shell, and then we have this be its own power car for proposed services on high-speed corridors where there's like basically no catenary, in essence. Which at that point you have to ask the question of, why not buy a P-42? Why not just buy an F-59?
Those are fast too. I mean, as fast as you're gonna get on those tracks.
Exactly. Like 70, it's this interesting, there's this interesting paradox that I've often found with like talking about high-speed rail, where it's like this idea of like, oh, you can get to a certain speed and that makes this thing inherently better. And it's like, yes, but if the infrastructure isn't being built to accommodate that thing, like the curves aren't, et cetera, then like, you know, there's no point in having higher speeds. So like at the TTC, the jet train reached speeds of 150 miles an hour. There's literally 0 places in America where that's possible to reach that speed.
Yeah.
Like unless you like make a freight only corridor and then like put all the passenger trains on like an adjacent like line that's like built to that speed, and at that point just slap some catenary.
At that point you should just be building full scale high speed rail.
So basically Bombardier tried to really market this thing a lot to like nascent high speed rail programs that didn't want to have that additional cost of catenary. And like obviously that's a really hard sell even in the early 2000s, when everybody's just like, let's just burn all of the oil that we can possibly find because burning things is fun. And like they attempted to market it both to high-speed rail systems in Texas and Florida, as well as a proposed line between Edmonton and Calgary. And in all three instances, you know, like in essence, well, the Florida one was killed by a ballot initiative. The Texas one collapsed. And then to this day, there's actually still no rail service between Edmonton and Calgary. It's almost as if like the places where these things are being proposed, like the population density is like low enough to make cars more reasonable for like most people who would have the money to purchase tickets for these sorts of things, which sucks. Like I'm all for more trains, but you know, it's there's a weird alternate universe where Brightline was turbine powered, you know?
Yes, no, yeah, I was thinking like that's Brightline. Like they were actually, there actually was a successful initiative like that. There was Brightline.
Yeah. So it's this weird, like, kind of alternative universe that we, like, could have lived in if this was a little bit more successful, where, you know, and I'm, like, kind of looking at some of the renderings for it and stuff, and it literally just looks like a turbine-powered, like, Acela down to the coaches and everything as well. But yeah, it had like a huge like tour of like the entire country in Canada basically. And it, to this day just kind of languishes away at the TTC, with its nose cone removed, and it's just kind of chilling. And
So
I don't
there was
really
only
feel like
one of them ever built?
only one. Yeah, it was
With
only
a
one.
reused turbine that had been in a Marine Corps landing craft.
Yes. Yeah.
All
It's
right.
I know, and it's just this wild little like It reminds me a lot of the sort of like, because the turboliners out east, I'm forgetting which one. I don't think, yeah, the Roar turboliners.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones had gotten rebuilt into turboliner threes around this time as well. And those, a lot of people online, I've seen comments being like, oh, like the Roar turboliner threes are like the coolest like trains ever. Like I want to
They
like
had
see
road
them in service and
turboliners
stuff.
in upstate New York, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Until not too long ago in the grand scheme of things. I was born in 2001 in Syracuse. I was not actually born in Oregon. As much as I make my entire personality about being from Oregon, I was not born there. My mom's family is from there, but I first set foot in Oregon in 2003 when I was a toddler.
Wow. I'm so betrayed.
Yes, but I remember, like, I feel like I remember hearing about, like, like I looked up when the Roar turboliners, I think it was the Roar turboliners were running. I was like, oh, when I was born, where I was born, Roar turboliners were running through my hometown.
And they're still in existence. There's a couple of them that are still at like a maintenance base south of Metuchen. I wanted to get my drone to fly over them when I was out there last August, but like I just wound up not being able to. But it's wild because like between this and those turboliners, like there was a reality that we kind of dodged in a way where like turbine technology for like train travel in the U.S. was like more widely adopted. It's kind of, I don't know, it's sad in a way. Like my ears are grateful for it, but like my soul isn't. Like
Yes.
I love weird, just like esoteric forms of transportation of like how about we just shove a jet engine into a train, sort of deal like that. That's the most American solution to a problem like this ever, genuinely. Or French, honestly, because they're the ones who also did it in that way. But yeah, so that's kind of the jet train. I really wish that it would have, like, at least one of them would have gone into service, like, as a set. As a prototype, it's fascinating, but, like, one of the images on here is literally just, I'm looking at a jet train with its a little Acela, like, dyno car with it, about to smack into, like, a fallen over truck. Like, that's just what they use it for now. And it's just, like, it's just kind of sad. It's kind of sad that it no longer exists in any meaningful form. So I hope one day it'll get saved because it's a cool little creature. But yeah, I would ask just in general, like, what is your favorite like really obscure locomotive like this, like that like most people don't know about?
Oh, let me think. This is the kind of question that I get asked and come up with a satisfactory answer in 30 seconds and a much better, much more interesting answer that I didn't think of on the spot like an hour later. Okay.
But we'll have to have a pinned comment then.
Yes, we will. All right. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm into the development of the Talgo trains in the Pacific Northwest. Before, like, the Talgo Series 6 will always be my favorite train. And just all the other things, other incarnations of the Talgo before we got the Talgo Series 6, attempts at running Talgos in the Northwest and elsewhere before that, and once we got the Talgo Series 6, the other attempts at running Talgos in other places, like the Las Vegas Talgo, how like there was a serious plan like that ran multiple like demonstration runs that the public could buy tickets on, and they had a location that planned out for a station and everything. I can't remember what killed it, but they were gonna run a Talgo train between LA and Vegas with the same equipment, Talgo Series 6 equipment. They had one train set earmarked for it, I think that may have been what killed it, that they didn't have enough rolling stock to do both the Vegas Talgo and the Cascades Talgo.
Yeah, I think UP consistently has been like really pushing against like any sort of passenger service on the SEMA subdivision. I think that's a lot of it, is this idea of like, oh, like we aren't able to like safely control passenger trains down SEMA Hill, or like, you know, the line is single tracked for like the entirety of it, and so we'd have to like stuff trains into sidings, and like it's, you know, it's kind of a get good situation. Like, you know, like if you pay your dispatchers more, maybe you'll be able to run the passenger train along the damn line. You know, it's this idea of like you'll get your passenger train when you fix this damn door sort of situation. But I mean, it's interesting. I was looking it up, and like, yeah, the Talgo train that the Boston and Maine tried. You want to know what the power car was like, what the power plant in the power car was? It was a Fairbanks Morse engine.
Oh.
Yeah,
nice.
It's like a little lightweight sea liner that they used on the I think it was the Merchandiser or something was what it was called.
Merchandiser.
I love early. I just Talgos in general are also. I also
there's
find
also a
that.
Talgo type, not Talgo, but similar, like low slung, intended at the time to be higher speed train that ran in Ohio called the Explorer in the 60s.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was a very distinctive train. That also, like we were saying about the UAC turbo train, like looks like a mid-century retro-futuristic vision of what a fast train should look like.
Those especially are very fascinating to me because, like, so between them, the Aero train too, because there's those as well,
yes,
like the GM
the Aero train. Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting because all of those feel like a technological response to a policy problem. Because it's this idea of like the reason why people were like leaving the trains was not because they weren't like sexy. It was because like it was more efficient to use a car.
Yeah.
And, like the highway system was like expanding and all that sort of thing. So it's this idea of like we're throwing technology at this thing in order to try and like bring people back, but like at the same time, like it's not a technology problem, it's a policy problem.
Yes.
And it's like, so I find that fascinating. It's throwing everything at the wall, and like none
sprawl.
of it sticking. Yeah.
Urban sprawl was what killed the passenger train. Yeah, it was because we started building cities where the only reasonable way to get around was by car.
Yeah, and there's lots of conflicting, and a lot of it's, you know, just like based off of like, you know, blatant racism and like all sorts of other wonderful policy decisions from way back in the 50s that we're still suffering from today. But I do find those just like those elements of those like lightweight trains to be kind of this really interesting like look back at, like, again, like with the UAC or with like the jet train, like this future that could have been.
There's a mini. Are you aware that there's a mini Aero train at the Portland Zoo?
Yes.
One of the trains that you can ride around the Portland Zoo to this day is a scale replica of the Aero train.
It's
called the Zoo Liner.
I should have gone there yesterday. I was in Portland literally yesterday.
Yes, you should have.
I should have gone. Dang it. All right. Well, I need to go. You know, the next time I go down to Albany, I will definitely be stopping by and trying to get a ride on that Zoo train.
Yes, the first trains I've ridden that I have a conscious memory of are the Amtrak Cascades Talgo, specifically the Mount Rainier set, and
that's awesome.
the Zooliner Aero train replica of the Portland Zoo.
I love that so much. Like, I don't know. I feel like more places need to just have like scale replicas of trains around them. You know, like I would go to Rainforest Cafe if they had like a whole ass train in there that you could dine in. You know, that would be awesome. Yeah,
there are many places that I would be more willing to go if they had a scale replica of a train.
Have we mentioned Kitsch Spawn yet? Because we talked about that a while ago, but just like
you talked about that. Yes, you coined that word in our previous conversation about trains that went live on the internet. The episode of Railfan Junction where you showed me your Cajon Pass spots.
So the TLDR for Kitsch Spawn is that it's in essence like it's a mode of transportation that doesn't serve like a practical purpose, but it's corny as hell. Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why.
Beauty of it.
There was actually one of those trolley space bus there's one of them for sale on Facebook Marketplace right now over in Issaquah, and it's $55,000, and it's like, man, I would take out a loan to get that thing. I know.
Yeah.
I would love to live out of a trolley bus. Like, it would be the lamest sort of situation I've ever lived in, but at the same time, it'd also be the coolest. Just like, hey, you want to come over to my house? It's got wheels.
Whoa, you live in a train? No.
It's like, no. It's I mean, I say this as like a gender non-conforming person, but there is something about like the idea of a trolley bus getting like high rail equipment put on it and it being able to travel on the tracks that is so like validating to like my specific conception of myself, in the sense that it's like, oh, like I too am.
Yes, if you wanted to get yourself a coat of arms, you could use that as your heraldic logo.
I ride my steed into battle, serving. It used to serve wine on it, so a cry of 1,000 Karens follows me into battle, like the angels of a cheesecake factory of Valhalla. Like,
I mean, if Valhalla was one big cheesecake factory, that is A, I think actually pretty close to the Vikings' vision for it, and B, wouldn't be that bad.
Damn, honestly, I mean, I feel like if I die and I like show up in a cheesecake factory and like it's just like I don't know, it's so kitschy. I feel like, I don't know, like, what's the other place like? Like, like, is it maybe that's hell,
like,
actually.
I'd be like, I don't know. I'd be able to see the good in that situation. I'd be like, okay, well, I had a good enough life, I guess.
The Cheesecake Factory is the purgatory.
Yeah.
If you go to hell, it's like an abandoned TGI Fridays, where like every step you take, you just like get a hypodermic needle in your foot or something. It's just like, ow. And forever, it's just, ow. What would heaven be in this instance? Like, I don't know. Like, what restaurant?
I don't know. It is inherently difficult to describe heaven. No.
Fast casual heaven.
The Shady Maple Smorgasbord. You heard of the Shady Maple Smorgasbord? It's this one particular restaurant outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I learned about it during my Lancastrian captivity a few weeks ago, when London and I were traveling.
Yeah,
Down to Tennessee from New York, and got stuck in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for a few days, and we were like, what is there to do in Lancaster, Pennsylvania? One of the things that you do is you go to the Shady Maple Smorgasbord, which claims to be the largest buffet in the world, and may well be. It is certainly the largest buffet I've ever seen. Yeah, is this Amish-run, giant restaurant out in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. And it genuinely makes the Cheesecake Factory look like Dutch Bros.
My god.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it
guess
is
that's
gigantic
fast casual,
and like kitschy, sure, but genuinely good and fun and absolutely, if you're in Pennsylvania ever, absolutely worth a visit.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have any issues with Kitsch whatsoever. I mean, I grew up like, with like Metrolinx Holiday Train and like loving that. And that's like kitschy as like those. Oh my god. I finally uncovered a recording of the Holiday Train that like was on like one of my old archived tapes that I was like re-importing, and oh my god, I miss that thing so much. Like, it's just having like an entire, I don't know, like Muppets play basically like on board a train that like goes to different Metrolink stations, and like
there was a time when I was like 8, when like, my two main special interests were Muppets and trains. You
do have a Muppet vibe. I don't know exactly how to put the you seem
with all the like kitschy little characters in my in my show. I got Sludds the Shoggoth right here on the table.
Absolutely.
Yes, I got Sludds here. I got Jollibee here. Like, they're not puppets per se, but they are Muppet-like characters, to be sure.
They really are. It's interesting. I think like what is it like? You seem like somebody, and correct me if this is completely off base. You seem like somebody who really like looked at Scooter as a kid and was just like, "That's me," in that way.
Yes. No, you are actually correct.
Damn. Oh my god. Yeah. I played Muppets Party Cruise. That says my age, but like Muppets Party Cruise is a GameCube era.
Yeah,
like
I haven't heard of that.
it's a Mario Party clone, but it's bad in a good way. Like I love
Yes.
good bad games and bad good games even
Sure,
and bad
sure.
games even.
Yeah.
The political compass of good bad
Yeah,
good.
right. Yeah,
you know,
good,
like,
good,
is-
bad. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it basically like you get like cruise credits every time you like pick up like the currency for like the game and stuff. And so if you've ever wanted to hear each of the Muppets be capitalist pigs, and like in the way in which in Miss Piggy's case literally one, in the way that they do. Yeah, like literally, like Kermit at one point goes, "Money!" He's just, like, they're like elated at the concept of money, and I'm like, wow, all right.
I need to play this.
Oh yeah, it's so good. If we ever like hang out
that
in person,
can be.
I will break
that
out my
can
copy
be
of it.
another episode.
Oh my god, no, Tor plays Muppets Party Cruise. Yeah,
Like an episode of Infodump. Yeah.
Oh my god, no, that'd be so good, genuinely. Yeah, it's a there's an old meme from my middle school years about me like cuz you can have there's a menu option in the game where you turn on maniac mode, which is
Ooh. I have no idea what that could possibly be, but I would turn it on immediately. I'm gonna start saying that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go maniac mode.
Yeah, I'm going to get the
McManiac.
slightly larger bag of cheese curds at Culver's. I'm going maniac mode.
I've gotten maniac. I'm getting 5 gallons of gas as opposed to 4. I'm going maniac mode. Like, just like very mild like enjoyments. Like,
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
I've watched 2 episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race tonight as opposed to 20 minutes of one
Yes.
before falling asleep. I'm going maniac.
I'm going maniac mode.
Going maniac mode. I love it. But it's because of that and because the computer difficulty spikes at that point, at least to my child idiot brain it did. We'd always pick Fozzie Bear, and so a meme developed among my friends back in like middle school. We would just say "fuck you, Fozzie," and that's continued throughout the entirety of my life, where I'll just be like "fuck you, Fozzie." I'll just blame him for it.
That's a quality meme. Yeah.
He's a fall guy. In
Yes,
the sense that
Fozzie
I
is
want to
as
push
your-
him down a flight of stairs.
Yes, perpetual whipping boy. Fozzie as the scapegoat.
Fozzie is the scapegoat. The lab leak hypothesis is that Fozzie Bear tripped and fell, and then now here
Yes.
we are.
Fozzie, yes, that there was a door slowly closing, and he knew what he had to do to save humanity was stay in the
Oh, yeah.
lab and die, but he crawled under the door before it closed.
Now he's the second cartoon bear to be banned in China.
Funny story about that. Yeah, when I was in China, part of the briefing when we arrived about like how not to fall afoul of the CCP, mentioned long list of things that you should not mention online. One of which was Winnie the Pooh, and then so. In Beijing, everyone rides around on these electric scooters. They look like old people's mobility scooters, but everyone uses them. They are the main mode of transportation in the city. And so along every street, there are just like hundreds of these parked along the sidewalks, and people decorate them, same way like people put stickers on their laptops or their water bottles. People put stickers all over their scooters. And
Right.
one day, I came across one of them that was entirely festooned with hundreds of stickers of Winnie the Pooh. And I was like,
Well,
huh.
that is either a very well-connected person, a very dead person, or...
Yeah, like I pictured them being confronted about it and being like, I just like Winnie the Pooh.
I'm sorry, he's my comfort character.
yeah.
I didn't mean to upset the dear leader. Like it's just it.
What are you talking about? I've never made the connection.
I'm not on Weibo. I don't know like what people say online. I'm on my little Winnie the Pooh subreddit. Like I'm on I like that's just that he's my boy. Like I don't know. Imagine living in China and like as like a plural system having an interject alter who's Winnie the Pooh, like a fictive that just like
I've certainly never considered that before.
That'd be a horrifying experience.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
that
like,
is
your entire
like
existence could be be
it's
summed up in
it's
two
like
words.
being the
Oh,
guy
bother.
who yelled the N-word at the BAFTAs. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, it's like it's
like,
at that
poor
point,
guy.
like
God.
it's extraordinarily unfortunate.
Yeah.
That oh my God, no, I can't like that intersection of I knew somebody like locally up in Seattle who had like a fictive alter, I guess like kind of like less so now because it's kind of like developed into its own thing, but like was a Catboy Scout from Team Fortress 2w. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, the human mind's
What
endlessly
the hell?
fascinating. Yeah, it's like, why not? I love me a good Catboy, and that's
yes. I've started to say that I've started to say, in the sense of like this character thing, lives rent free in my mind. I've started saying this or that character or person is the Greek god in my bicameral mind.
That's funny.
Have you seen the as of when we are recording this, the most recent Tours Cabinet episode?
Not quite.
Okay,
I am not
that's
quite
what
caught
that's
up,
about. The joke will make sense to you if you watch that one. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I will be completely upfront in saying that this is a fun admission. Since we've started talking, I've not caught up with the episodes of Tours Cabinet. Actually, I have quite a bit of a backlog.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of fun stuff to watch.
I know. I'm really excited.
I think some of my best work has been in the last few months. Yeah.
I think that everything that you do is your best work, Tor, and I'm not glazing.
Aww.
God, have you watched the new Muppet show? Did you wind up watching that?
I never did. I've wanted to for a while, but
okay.
Like my Muppet special interest, along with my special interest in license plates that I mentioned long ago in the Wallace Fard Muhammad episode, those are the two special interests I had when I was little that really just came and went, and I have not substantially thought about them in years and years.
Interesting. It's time to play the music. It's time to license plate.
Got me.
I mean, yeah, I'll always try to. It's interesting. So, what's your as a kid, like, what was your favorite license plate out of all of them? Like, what was the one that you looked at?
Oh well, I can tell you this is still my favorite license plate. This is actually the one remaining vestige of my license plate special interest is that I still want to see one of these ones in the wild. It's a very obscure one. It's the one for Northwest Territories, which is a polar bear. Like, it's not like, it doesn't like have a silhouette of a polar bear on it. No, the plate itself is cut into the shape of a polar bear silhouette.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I when I was in high school, I was doing I had just graduated high school actually. I was doing a a summer camp. Like, I was like counseling at a summer camp, like a day camp at like a science center that had a bunch of like metal dinosaur sculptures at it. It was awesome.
Ooh, nice.
It was like the Harupa Cultural Center is like what it used to be called back then. It's got like a gigantic mammoth sculpture on like a hill overlooking like the 60 freeway in California. I love it. It's good shit.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah, there's a bunch of dinosaur, great big dinosaur statues along one of the freeways in like the desert part of SoCal. Like,
you're thinking of Cabazon. You're thinking of
Coachella.
Yeah. That's the Cabazon dinosaurs. There's a whole history of those that I would love to tell you about someday. Where like for a while they were actually owned, if my memory serves correctly, they were owned by a Young Earth like group, and so it was literally like you'd go up into the middle of the Apatosaurus, and it'd be like, hey, here's why these things didn't actually exist, which is one of the most amazing things ever. Yeah, because they're like Pee-wee's Big Adventure and. I actually have a patch in my living room, like on my cork board, that's just is like "Tell him Large Marge sent ya," because that's like the scene from Pee Wee's Big Adventure where he goes out there and sees Large Marge, which is
I need to
a
see
character.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
You've never seen Pee Wee's Big Adventure? I get to do that. Oh my god, everybody usually does that to me. What? Really? I'm surprised.
Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah, and I know it's a classic. I love Tim Burton. It's the movie that put Tim Burton on the map, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so yeah, I really got to see it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's another idea for an episode, but
Absolutely.
I think a great hook for another Infodump episode is you telling me about the Cabazon dinosaurs.
Absolutely. I do think also, this is just a weird aside. I do think that the two autistic genders are Pee Wee Herman and Mr. Bean, and there's it's like if somebody's more cat or dog, just like I don't know. It's and I don't know if that's
like
fair to our people, but
two
like
genders of a particular type of artist.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's specific to it. It's because like I don't know. It's
no,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, like are you
semiotics?
Okay, are you more Mr. Bean or are you more Pee Wee Herman? That's the question.
I want to say I'm more Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, I'd say so too. I definitely most parts of me are definitely more Pee Wee Herman in the sense that we think that we are significantly more socially capable and cool. Actually are.
yes, and that is something to aspire to.
Yeah,
it's
Pee Wee Herman
much
is sophomoric.
better than the opposite.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. It's the and to think that you're less cool than you actually are is sad. I prefer grandiosity and ignorance over fear and ignorance in that sense. But yes, I'd love to tell you about the Cabazon dinosaurs someday. But I think probably, I mean, we can keep going if you want to, but I mean, we've been going for about an hour and a half, give or take now. I mean,
yeah,
it seems like a good cutoff point to you.
I need to go to dinner with London anyway. But yes,
okay. Let's stop recording here, and then we can chat for a little bit about
the trains my love. And
yeah, sounds good to me. Thanks for stopping
right.
by this episode.
All right, you can check out Infodump on I don't even know. We will eventually have some more detailed idea about how to get this out into the world. Thanks. Bye.